What is going on, OTR? We got the OTR crew here today. Well, we got the fellow OTR member here. We got the GOAT, and we got yours truly, the Chief.
Yep. What's up, guys?
Oh, yeah. So today we're going to talk about, we're going to debate whether or not it's better to be feared or whether it's better to be respected. You know, I was watching some YouTube, and I seen a short little clip about it, and it kind of interested me. I thought it'd be a good thing for us to debate today. So, let's get it started. Is it better to be feared or respected? Well, I would say that it would be better to be respected, me personally, because people respect you, then they'll be loyal to you. Because they respect you, they'll do things for you out of respect for you, or they won't do things out of respect for you. But on the other hand, if you're feared, people are afraid of you, and they do things out of fear of you, or they won't do something because they're afraid of what you might do. Kind of like Hitler. When he was running Nazi Germany, everybody was afraid of him. He was ruling by fear, right? But at the same time, the people that he was imposing fear on, they were starting to grow a slight hate towards him, or a full hate towards him because of the way he was ruling. But if you think about it from the Nazi side, the Nazi soldiers, they kind of respected him, but they feared him as well.
Kind of like that middle ground there,
Yeah. But, I would say it's better to be respected, honestly, because...
I think that, when it comes to fear or respect, it's one of the more interesting topics to myself personally. I think that, there's a lot of different sides, a lot of different points to play on when it comes to fear or respect. I think that, when you're a kid, and just to kind of point out an example here, when you're a kid and, you're living with your parents, grandparents, whatever, whoever you're living with, a lot of times you don't do things because you're afraid of what might happen, right?
Right.
And so like whoever takes care of you, parents, grandparents, etc., they have ground rules, right? And every parental guardian, they're gonna have ground rules. So it just is like some ground rules are, in your mind, you're a kid, you're like, that's stupid. I'm not going to follow that.
Or it's going to have consequences.
Right. It's going to have consequences.
Yeah.
Nowadays, in our previous episodes, it might not have consequences.
Right.
But, in my household, it had consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was one of those things where it was the fear of the consequence kept me from doing something that was potentially stupid most of the time. The rules were like pretty simple rules that were like, don't die,
right.
Stuff to keep you alive, you know what I mean? So
right.
It was one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid of the consequences, until I just stopped caring. And then I was like, whatever, and that's when it changed. So point I'm trying to make is, when you were younger, you didn't do things out of fear. You get to a certain age where you just don't care, you're going to do it anyways.
Right.
Well, then, full circle, back to where I'm at now,
Mm-hmm.
I listen out of respect instead of fear, because I respect what they have to say.
Okay.
And so the fear almost made me defiant after so many years, boom, 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 defiance, you know? And so I think that's one of those interesting things. It's like, put it in a workplace setting. If somebody's scared that they're going to get fired because of you all the time, well, first of all, they're not going to be normal around you. They're going to be Mr. Company Man, say in a leadership role, If somebody respects you, they don't care, because they respect, because most people that are respected in the workplace will let certain things slide because, how they get that respect in the first place.
Right.
So it brings me back to a full circle where it's like I'm kind of dealing with this issue right now because in my company I got put to a leadership role. So it's like I'm not the fear type leader.
Right.
But because I'm so young and I'm in a leadership position, it's hard to gain the respect of some of these people's, their opinions and everything like that. It's hard to get on the side of respect, which I'm trying to do. But right now it seems like I'm getting a lot of fear towards that. And fear as if like they can't say certain things around me or this, that, and the other.
Right.
I'm like, dude, I don't care, man. Like at the end of the day, as long as you get what you need to get done, I don't care. If you have, let's say you have a layout for the day and you got a certain amount of things done. If you get those done, I don't care if you play the rest of the day. I don't care if you go out in your car the rest of the day. As long as you got what you got to get done.
Right.
So like with the fear aspect, it kind of bugs me because I'm like, I'm not one to want to lead by fear. I want to lead by respect.
Right.
But at the same time, they make it difficult for me because I'm so much younger than everybody, and
right, the older guys are like, "You too young. I ain't got to listen to you. I've been around 65 years.
I've been around since before you were born in this trade.
What
they
you gonna teach me?"
Right, and yet they do listen, but they listen because some of the bosses above me have been like, if you don't listen to them, you can kick rocks.
Consequences.
And so it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm trying to get more on that side of, I want people's respect, and respect is earned, well given. But it was like I had respect, and as soon as this leadership thing happened, that respect just withered away. And so now I gotta rework that and come back to it and earn the respect again.
Right. I see exactly what you're saying. So you're saying respect got to be earned.
Oh yeah.
Fear is forced.
Right.
It's kind of already imposed.
Right.
So like, same thing with a job. I mean, you go in there, but you're still kind of afraid of the boss because he can fire your ass, right?
Yeah.
But if you're respected, they probably gonna do the best thing at their job that they can. Because they respect you and they want to see the company flourish.
Absolutely. And I actually have some interesting points on that. So, fear-based leadership turns employees' attention inward instead of outward.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you're thinking about that, what does that mean? We kind of touched up on it already, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, staff members who are led by fear go into survival mode.
Yep.
They are no longer interested in the company's outcome, the quality of the production or service,
right,
or the customer experience. Instead, they are concerned with keeping their jobs and not stepping on toes, which is exactly what we were talking about here.
In other words, doing just enough.
Well, yeah, they want to make sure that they're not imposing or doing this or doing that. Mm-hmm. They don't want to bring innovation to the table because they're scared if they bring the wrong innovation or they say the wrong thing, then that's it.
Right.
They're out, and they want to keep their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole step that holds people back. As far as in the world of business, it holds people back. They don't want to get booted out. They don't want to get fired. You know what I mean? Nobody wants that.
Right.
And so it's one of those things that's it definitely disempowers people looking inward. Well, if I do this, I might get fired. If I do this, he might not like it. You know what I mean? And I think that's a very great point there.
But when you think about that, and then you think about fear, I mean, you don't want to be. Sometimes you don't want everybody's respect or need everybody's respect. There's some employees that you probably will need to impose some of that fear on and be like, hey, you don't get your shit together, we're going to fire you.
Yeah.
You got to impose that fear on them sometimes.
That's true. Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, and whether or not the imposing of the fear works, they're either going to get their stuff together and they're going to respect you for coming in and let them know to get their stuff together.
Yeah.
Or the fear is going to work.
Right.
But they're not going to be doing as much. They're going to be doing just enough to hold on to their job, like you said.
Right. And I mean, if it's somebody that you really have to put the fear into in that aspect, maybe that's somebody that doesn't need to be at that business.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's kind of how you can pinpoint, what's what, where they need to be, what's this. You know what I mean? Just kind of eyeballing it around like that. And so, on the opposite hand, the fear side, everybody's looking inward. They don't want to say too much. They don't want to do the wrong thing because it could cause...
Keep their head down.
Keep their head down. Keep their job. Don't get in trouble.
Exactly.
Fear, okay? Respect, instead of disempowers, it empowers. Okay, well, valid point, but let's look at what that means. So great leaders make those around them better. First of all, right off the bat, when you're a well-respected individual and you're a leader, people around you get better because they respect you.
Exactly.
They want to do better. They wanna show out. They wanna be the best that they can be because they see you and they respect you.
And they want to make you look good.
Right. And that's, what more could a leader ask for in a sense? And so to second on that, they find ways to discover the best in people and enable their full potential. So a well-respected leader, we are learning, is a good leader versus a leader that's feared is not so good of a leader based on what we're seeing here, based on what the facts are saying. A respected leader is somebody that he fights for the people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's very clear at my work we have the leader role for us. Mm-hmm. We got the leader role for the office personnel, so to speak. Because we got office and then we got the workers. Right. And we feel like two separate entities. Same business, two separate entities. Mm-hmm. The leader fights for us. He goes out and he fights battles that need to be fought for us. Right. In turn, gives us respect for him. Just like that. Boom. Mm-hmm. Creates the respect in the room. And in that sense, and it's because he's doing his job. He's doing his job well. Exactly. Right? And so another thing is, their energy is infectious. A respected leader is going to have an energy about them. You respect them. They're your leader. You already know they fight for you. Their energy, you're going to be like, I'm going to try and be more like that. Mm-hmm. Because they bring that oomph to the table.
Right, like that fire.
Like that fire, yes. And
I want to pull off of that last part that you were talking about, because when you were talking about the leaders, the respected ones empower their workers to do better. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have leaders that just expect the respect to be given. Right. They don't want to earn the respect. They just, I'm the boss, y'all gotta respect me. Right. But he hasn't earned it. Like a new boss that just took over a company. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody's really gonna respect him. Right. But he's the boss. He feels like everybody should respect him regardless. Mm. And it don't work like that. Right. And then in turn, they start to impose that fear. Mm-hmm. But some people like to mistake the two. Some people think that because their people are afraid of them, that they respect them. Right. And in some cases, that could be true in some cases, but not in all cases.
Yeah. I would agree, and I think that's a very good point when it comes to the perfect scenario right there. As a CEO comes in, new to the company just hired him in, and people don't know who he is. Some people are probably like, I've been waiting years to get that spot. Exactly. They ain't in that spot. They don't like him already.
Right. This guy just came in and took over.
That much harder for him to get the respect that he probably deserves. Right. Because think about it in a business mindset. You own a multi-billion-dollar business and you want a CEO. You would be hurt if you picked some bozo off the street. You know
that don't know nothing about
nothing. You picking somebody who's been in that chair before. Right. And he did good things. You look at his background. Where's he been at? What's the business look like now?
Right. And see, he's been around the block a few times.
He's been around the block. He made these businesses boom.
Exactly.
We like that guy. We want that guy.
I agree.
Instead of guy below, president, sir, we're going to put him in that position because this guy knows what he's doing. We like him.
Exactly. I mean, when you think about the guy who don't respect the new CEO because he feels like he deserves that spot. He won't respect the new CEO as much. Right. But he doesn't understand. It's like, from the upper chairman's perspective, it's like, okay, Johnny's been here for almost 10 years. He does a real good job, but he doesn't really know much about that position.
Right.
So do I want to bring Johnny in here, who doesn't really know much, but he's a hard worker?
Major learning curve too.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly, because it's one thing to go from a worker to a CEO.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, even if you were a president, still,
Yeah.
it's a big difference. That step right there. Say there's 4 presidents and 1 CEO. That chair is not an easy fillable chair.
Exactly. So then it's like, or do I want Michael, who's worked for this company, and they've all flourished? Do I want him on?
Right. You know,
It's not really that hard of a decision. But
put yourself in the business perspective, guys, and just think about that for a second. You own, let's say, a multi-million-dollar business, and you see this guy. He's got his resume out, and he's made business after business after business flourish, being the CEO.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, why isn't he still there? He wants more pay. He wants something better. Them companies, they weren't offering him enough. Maybe he's so good at what he does. That's how he makes the money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Give me this contract. I'll make your business better. 4 years.
Exactly.
That's the guy. You know,
Like the president.
4 years. You know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gonna make this country better, you know.
4 years.
But really, think about it. The country is a business. Okay? Now, I don't want to get too political on you, but let's just think about this for a second. The name Trump, does it ring a bell, anybody? I'm sure it does. I'm sure everybody knows who it is.
I've heard of him a few times.
Yeah, so have I. So here's the thing. We got Trump, right? Super hated by so many people. So many people hated him. But he wasn't leading out of fear.
No. He was highly respected.
He was respected, but it wasn't just respect. He just kept it real.
Exactly.
He kept it real and honest with people, and sometimes his honesty was a little overkill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people are like, he could have been less honest there, but all things considered,
He's still real.
He was real. And that realness is what made people love him, because when he said he was going to do something, guess what? I don't care if it happened 2 years later or 3 years later or 2 months later, it happened. He put his word, you know. He walked the talk.
Exactly.
You know. And so that in turn gave him the respect. And so like back to the fear of respect, there are great leaders in history. Amazing leaders in history.
Right.
They had bad morals and they led by fear. But that does not take away from their leadership abilities. A lot of people, I got in trouble in this in school. We were doing a history class, and we were talking about World War II. And I was like, well, Hitler was probably one of the greatest leaders to ever walk this earth.
Yeah.
And they were like,
if you really think
like
about
almost
it.
tried to like suspend me.
Yeah.
Like they got heated over
You
this.
need a lead.
Yeah, what is wrong with you? Are you like, are you dumb? Like, no, I'm not dumb. Think about it, okay?
Yeah.
This guy, first of all, not in politics at all.
Right.
Fought in the First World War. Almost died. There's a story where somebody almost shot him. Didn't, because he was all by himself and they wanted to give him a second chance. Wound up being Hitler.
Right.
And he was a teenager at that time. Next thing you know, somehow he gets home. What's he do? He starts just working his magic.
Planning.
Only an exceptional leader, could do what he did, like he did.
Yeah.
Now, again, he led by fear. Some people respected, some people feared.
Yeah.
Mostly fear to the world, to everybody else. But when you think about to the Nazis, they respected this dude.
Yeah.
Think about it, the Great Depression, right? That's going on. That's thick going on. So he's like, perfect opportunity. Let me get up there. I'm gonna tell him how I'm gonna help him.
Yeah.
Does it? Puts his word where his mouth is. They like this guy.
And they follow
Germany's like, hey, this he's fighting our bidding for us. We're gonna follow him. We're gonna do what he wants. The leadership skills there. A phenomenal leader. My teacher tried. Oh man, they were so mad when I said that. But I'm like, you can't argue that this guy was one of the greatest leaders in all of history.
Yeah.
When you look at the history books, people,
Even though he had bad morals.
bad, terrible morals. Now, I'm not saying he was a great guy. Let me clear this up. His leadership abilities, the ability to be a leader, was so strong in this guy. His morals and his personality and the actual likeness of the person was terrible. He was a horrible human being.
Right.
Let's not get that wrong. But the skills he had, the skill set of leadership, imagine if he wasn't a Nazi.
Exactly.
Imagine if he was president for the U.S., but with better morals. Just take that leadership real quick.
Yeah.
Take that leadership. Let's see, who had great leadership like that in our country? What president? We can think for a second. Who we gonna think about?
Abe Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln. Okay, abolished slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Or even George Washington.
The first president. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. The first president. He didn't lead from fear.
No.
He realized that he was wrong on the Britain side.
Yeah.
He was fighting for the British. He was against our country at first. He realized he was wrong.
Yeah.
Came from Britain, from the British, transferred over sides,
To the
became
US.
so well respected
That they gifted him.
they gifted him the first presidency. When you talk about
we
fear,
don't want anyone else here. We want you to have it.
yeah, and when you think about it, it blows my mind. That is what respect can do, and that's also what a great leader can do.
Yeah.
You had a great leader who became respected. He was hated.
Right.
He was a general for the Britons. And then guess what? Boom, comes over here. Now he's a general for the U.S. He realizes he was wrong. He wants to fight for freedom and righteousness, America,
And he came
He's
back
gonna
and corrected.
came over there, helped win the war, beat the Britons. They're like, hey, you're going to be our president.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, I'll do it, I guess. The leadership and the respect.
Exactly.
That right there. Boom. Same with Abraham Lincoln. The leadership, the respect, phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, and people might disagree with us about the things that we just said about Hitler.
Yeah.
But if you want proof of how great of a leader, you watch the videos. They show the videos all the time in school of Hitler, but you see the crowds of people around there to see him. The entire country flooding the streets to hear what he got to say.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, you think that's not?
You know
don't
who it
think that's not a
reminds me of?
characteristic of a great leader?
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
That reminds me of the crowds of people that supported around just to rally up for Trump.
Yeah.
Or the crowds of people that came to fill arenas up to rally for him while
Yeah.
he was there. The crowds of people down the highways. When you talk about respected leaders,
Yes.
there are a lot of people that hate him, but you gotta admit, that guy is respected because he came into office and he did what needed to be done.
Exactly. And that's a saying too. I've heard that saying before. They say you don't gotta like him, but you gotta respect him. You hear that saying a lot.
Yeah. And what happened? We hate him. Okay, Biden gets in office. We want Trump back. Why? I thought you hated him. I thought you. Well, turns out I kind of like what he did there for a little bit.
I respected that he did this.
I like them $2.20 gas prices a gallon. I like them $1.80 gas prices.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, me too. Yeah, welcome to the club of the rest of us that realize that was going on.
Exactly.
And so it's one of those things, man. Like and it's also partly to do with he's a businessman. He's a businessman. He ran business for years. He got into office. He ran the country like it was a business.
Exactly.
And
like it's supposed to be run.
Like it's supposed to be run. Any business owner, okay? Say you're making tables.
Mm-hmm.
You're making tables, and you've been buying legs for these tables from some other company, okay? As America, that represents the oil. They've been buying oil from other countries forever,
Right.
okay? You could make it cheaper by building your own legs, right?
Cut them trees down in the backyard.
Yeah. Cut the trees down, build your own legs,
Mm-hmm.
Cut your legs up, buy metal, make metal legs. Whatever you got to do, you can make your own legs.
Right.
But for some reason, the government likes to tell us that that's dumb because we'd be saving so much money.
Right.
It's so stupid.
To get everything imported.
Yeah. So again, just to kind of back up our little spiel there, but regroup into the campfire.
Yeah, Trump, bro, you got to think, before he even thought about becoming president, you cannot take away from him that he was running a multi-billion-dollar company before he even. There was a interview he had before where they were asking him if he would ever run for president, And I think he might have said no. I think he said no, I wouldn't.
He said, now I know what interview you're talking about. I just can't remember exactly. So you can
Yeah,
get up in the comments.
There and look it up.
Yeah, look it up. But I believe he said that he didn't clarify if he would or wouldn't. He said that's not really my thing, but if I did, I would change things.
Exactly.
And sure enough, he changed things.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, look at things now, man.
Other leaders, though, that, again, might have led by fear.
Genghis Khan.
The only reason I'm saying these people led by fear is more because of the world around them. The rest of the world was terrified of Hitler. The rest of the world was terrified of Genghis Khan.
Right.
Genghis Khan invaded and took over everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He had the biggest empire in the world,
Exactly.
I think, ever. Fact check us. Get on Google.
Yeah.
Okay, fact check that. But I think he had the biggest empire in the world. The only country he couldn't invade was Japan, because they had some samurais in there and they weren't playing.
They weren't playing that shit.
It was like the whole country was Navy SEALs of like today's, to specify that. But yeah, they had samurais and ninjas and stuff. Crazy stuff. But when you think about it, he took over. He took land. He was a leader. He was respected by his own country.
Yeah.
Because he gave them everything they could ever want.
Mm-hmm.
You want the economy boost? Boom. Now we have every country in the world under us. We got a major economy boost. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Things like that. Like he gave the people what they wanted. And as far as like his leadership abilities, you can't make an empire everywhere but Japan in the world and not have good leadership abilities.
Right. Like I was reading a book last week. Have you ever heard of King Solomon in the Bible?
Yeah.
So I was reading his story. I'm not done with it yet, but I'm pretty far into it. And it talks about, and Solomon was a highly respected king as well. But the reason he was so respected was because of how wise he was.
Right.
And everybody knew that and God granted him the gift of wise because he was the only one to ever ask God to gift him that. God asked him, he's like, what do you want? He's like, I'll give you anything you want. What do you want? And he didn't ask for riches.
Nope.
He didn't ask for fame.
Nope.
He didn't ask for anything like that. He asked for wisdom. He said, give me the wisdom to guide these people.
Right.
And God gifted him the wisdom. And he was one of the richest men in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was. He was one of the richest men in the world.
At the time, I think he was the richest in the world.
Yeah, and he had over 1,000 wives. But he didn't love all the wives. Some of the wives that he married were for for government, ties and stuff like that with other nations. But anyways, he was one of the wisest kings in the world and one of the richest kings in the world. And the reason that is because all the people respected him. I mean, he built a ginormous temple for God, but he didn't build it himself. The people built it for him. And they were bringing in all kinds of things like, I believe they brought in Noah's Ark or something like that, or some ark they dragged in there. But they were
The
gifted.
Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, Ark of the Covenant, yeah.
And he made that temple, and interesting thing, so somebody that got Solomon's eye was a guy who was not known at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was like a blacksmith or something. He wasn't known.
Right.
But the way he asked God for something similar. Not wisdom, but something along the lines of
Knowledge
and stuff like that, and he was a God seeker,
Right.
Wound up getting up in the system close to Solomon. Solomon actually put him in charge of that temple.
Okay.
And so, just a cool little fun fact there.
Yeah. But
About that. But he was well respected, Solomon.
He really
Solomon,
was.
King David, super
his
respected.
father, yeah.
What happened, King David, little guy. Little tiny guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not even big enough to fit in armor and whatnot.
Right.
Couldn't lift a shield. Couldn't lift a sword. He was too small. What did he
Follow
do?
God's
Took
way.
out Goliath.
Yep, he did take out
Goliath. Boom. King.
Yep.
Like that. Respect. Instant respect. Earned from everybody. He took out a giant. Whoa.
Exactly.
He was a God follower in lines and whatnot.
And
But
that's
he was
he
super
told
well
Solomon to do the same right
Yep.
before he died.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, but at the same time, see, Solomon was highly respected, but he wasn't afraid to impose that fear.
Yeah.
Like when the two prostitutes ran in there and they were arguing about a baby, like
Yeah.
whose baby it was. One of the women was saying it was hers, but it wasn't. The other one was the actual mother. So what Solomon did was he took the baby by the leg and he threatened to cut the baby in half because he knew that the real mother of that baby would scream and tell him not to do nothing to that baby. So he hung the baby, he picked the baby up, and he was pretending like he was about to slice that baby in half. And true enough, the real mother did scream and claim that that was her baby, and he knew it was the truth. But that has something to do with the wisdom that God granted him.
Yeah, and you know, my personal opinion, I think it's better to lead with respect. But at the same time, you know, you can lead with respect all you want, and most of the time that'll get things done. But when it doesn't, you have to use fear.
Yeah, you got to impose it sometimes.
So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, because I mean, you could be a highly respected boss, but you don't want everybody to just think, oh, he's cool. You know, we can do whatever.
Yeah.
Just run all over.
Because at the end of the day, your job's get stuff done.
Yeah.
Make sure stuff is getting done.
Exactly. So if you the boss, you want to be the most respected guy in the room, but at the same time, you can't be afraid to impose that fear into some people and let them know, like, I'm still the boss. Don't get it twisted.
Right. I
But
like it.
Me too, man. And that was a W. So you said, did you want to do another part on this, or?
No. We on that note though, we are going to be introducing a series soon. We can't let you guys know yet. It's a surprise. But yeah, there'll definitely be a series coming, so stay tuned for that. Also, drop a comment, fact check us, everything like that.
Oh yeah, leave a like.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Yeah,
Definitely,
subscribe.
man.
Yeah.
So y'all can know when we drop.
Yeah. Go watch the old videos. Let us know what you think, you know.
Oh yeah.
Leave a comment, everything like that.
Oh yeah, because you know only thing we know how to do around here is keep it real.
That's it.
Because it's OTR and it's only the realest.
Only the realest. So, on that note, we'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.